The dude compels you to make your offering to the toy gods. The dude compels you to praise to the toy god.
Ooh.
What up?
Hey.
What up? We are back. We are back, and we are here to, other than just some pre-show banter, we're here for one reason, and that is for one bleeping topic. And really part of the fun of the show is, can these four humans stay on one bleeping topic?
No, I don't think with this group.
Negative.
This is hard.
It's a sociological experiment as well, so we can add that to the repertoire. But we will go around with our esteemed panel first. I'm a dude. We have John's nerdery tonight.
Yeah, the other guys didn't get the memo. It should be Eric's nerdery and Ways of the nerdery.
Well, I like that. You're a trendsetter. But we do have Sir Eric.
Cheers.
Is the basement wife approved?
Yeah, for now.
We've got Ways of the Sith.
What's up? What's going on?
I just got the Yoda.
I was going to say, John, you need to get the Yoda version.
I already got the Yoda. I bought two. I bought two, actually.
One to keep in box?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. No, it looks cool. Especially because he's in the High Republic stuff.
If anyone gets hungry, I brought one of these.
It's got a fruit pie, yeah.
Yep. Just if you're hungry, guys, let me know. I did bring the fruit pie. All right, so I want to welcome Thousand Ghosts. Thank you for coming in first.
The dude is back.
Good to see
you.
It's
gonna get rough. Hey, the dude is back.
What's up, Sean?
We got Sean Solo 8. What up, dude?
Sean showed up at the end of my stream. He was.
Dino.
Well, he strategically, time wise, that's smart. He bookends them.
Yeah.
That's very effective time management. He loves the new background. Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's looking good.
See, everybody had to buy nubs, man. He's too cool.
I'll get the one with the speeder. Did you see the one with the speeder?
Yeah.
I didn't see the speeder. I got the ship, though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the ship looks cool. It's a good box art, too.
I picked up the lightsabers for my niece. I grabbed one for her, and I grabbed one for her dad so they could play. So it was a nice little surprise.
Very cool. So everyone's doing well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as good as can be, It's all right. Day by day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good, man. It's good. It's good to see that you're doing things that bring you joy, because that can be hard.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here and hanging out, man.
John's got a really great spirit to him. I don't know if anybody ever says that, but he's always upbeating and uplifting to everybody, which is really, really good for the community.
Thanks, dude.
True that.
I'm glad you're here, man. It's been a while since we got to hang out, man. Been thinking about you.
Yeah, I couldn't miss it. I mean, when you said you were going to be doing something today, I'm glad it worked out. So it didn't, we could arrange everything with Salacious in the morning, then my giveaways in the middle, and you here too. So it works out.
It's a lot of meat in the lineup today.
Yeah.
And the Christmas and July is
worked.
always cool too. That's always a great concept.
Yeah, we just gave away three cool piles of stuff. It was all Star Wars today, though. Anyone who was hoping to get Star Wars, it's going to be later in the month. They're going to be like, "Well, I don't want to watch. There's no more Star Wars to give away."
Thought you were trying to hypnotize us with all the wheel spins.
Yeah, there you go.
Were there any controversies?
Well, Rick wanted to win. He kept saying it was a conspiracy that he was never winning. So, yeah, a little bit.
Wow, are
a little bit.
Dude, is Sir Eric going straight from the bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
IKEA.
IKEA wine.
Well, it's just sparkling apple and lingonberry juice.
Sure, sparkling apple and
Sparkling.
lingonberry.
Yeah.
Non-alcohol.
The pear one's amazing too.
You're at that stage of dad life.
Already, like that quickly.
Chugging bottles of sparkling stuff from IKEA.
That quickly.
He's treat yourself.
He's on stream. He said, "I get a little break. I'm gonna do both in the stream."
Nice. Is there anything poured into there?
No. This stuff is tasty. I'm not big into booze. This is just, I like sweet stuff. This is really good. If you've never gotten it, next time you go to an IKEA, get this and get the sparkling pear juice. It's amazing.
I gotta pick up.
I don't know if that's a red flag or not.
I gotta pick up the Calyx. I gotta go pick up another Calyx, so I'll check it out when I go.
Do it.
You know what? Will you do that and then give your review of the IKEA sparkling?
Of the IKEA sparkling stuff?
Yes.
That's good.
We have
Eric's
review.
Yeah.
You know, being in our community like a toy. Okay, so one of the things as a side effect of what's happened recently is now we got the house just sitting up there, and Mom's like, well, you can now use the TV room. We redid my brother's room into a guest room, and then the TV room is empty. So we're doing a garage sale next weekend, and we're cleaning out like a lot of the extra stuff that we don't need. And that room will basically be an empty room. It'll just have a TV stand and a TV. So first off, I'm going to paint the walls while it's cleared out, redo the floor, get it all nice and clean and everything, because they had cats and everything. There's no more cats or no more animals there. So it's like I can totally redo this place, and I'm going to get a new couch with a hide-a-bed in it, and then put up shelves, and that's going to be the modern toy room. So the problem I have with all these boxes in the way is going to go away, because I can put all those in the truck, drive them up to their place. I'm going to sort everything there, bring the vintage back, keep the modern there, and all the modern that's here, like Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, Star Wars Black Series, all the 6-inch stuff is going to go in boxes and go up there. So I'm going to have a whole new toy room to set up. But the only IKEA is an hour south of me. So from her place, it's almost 3 hours. So I can't easily go to the IKEA, and it just seems like a big pain in the ass. So I'm trying to find alternative ways to get similar shelving, because IKEA is the cheapest and best way to go.
Yeah.
Can you have it shipped?
They make the best stuff.
Oh, they charge for that distance. They charge me almost $200 to ship it all. Ooh. So it's just it's like it almost doubles the price. So
you're almost better off taking the drive to go do it. Yeah.
I have been finding that there's a couple of things on Amazon that I can use. And the funny thing is the couch is the cheapest on Amazon. And Amazon does Prime free delivery for all that stuff, even furniture.
Yeah.
So we may end up just having some of it Prime delivered, and it'll be free delivery.
And then the rest you just have to take a trip to IKEA for the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you should document and videotape it.
Yeah, we've been
The funny thing is and stuff.
My mom has a bunch of cameras for the security system that are not hooked up. So I was like, I got to hook those up in the corners of the room and then get them online. And then after we're done, I can unplug them and install them for her around the house outside, But in the meantime, we can use them to the process. Yeah.
That would be cool.
I'm debating what color the walls should be, though. Do I paint it that light gray like what you got, or do I do like a white, or the rest of the house is white? The reason I want to repaint the walls is because they're like a pink coral like color, and it's not going to go well with any of the stuff. And I'm like, it's either got to be a light gray or a white or
some off white
eggshell or something. You know what I mean? Like it's
right. I like that, like light gray, light bluish gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
What do
yeah,
you
not
got
just-
on your walls down there? That's a grayish color, right?
Yeah,
Blue?
it's like a grayish blue, like a
Okay,
grayish blue,
yeah.
like a very neutral. You know what I mean? Just like a
Yeah.
nice mix of
Got that-
grayish
it's
blue,
got
like
that
kind of
heat to
calming.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Calming, like but you could definitely see the hint, and then depending on the light, it's a little, the blue pops a little bit more depending on natural light coming in.
Yeah.
So with that, I feel like
So
me
what's her
talking about
one topic?
the colors. So really, when we say
Steve already
one, when we say one topic, we mean once the one topic starts.
Yeah.
This is really just
This is a catch-up.
pre-show
This is a
foreplay,
catch-up.
Answer
right?
before the one
Yeah.
topic, yeah.
Yes. So we learned about sparkling cider.
John's
Talked
new
about
toy room.
color palettes in the rooms. Gilster, now we're getting comments doing eggshell white.
Yeah.
There's
I like
also flat white.
The grayish blue is nice too, because it's like just a small hint of blue, but like it gives you a nice, like Dude was saying, a nice like calming
Like
color
just
to
the
the
tip of
room.
blue. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Unless,
Like,
just the tip. Yeah.
just see how it feels.
unless you want to do Yoda green.
No,
No, because then
Mom
that's
would
that's
probably
a
look
big.
sideways at me if I do a color like that. Yeah.
All right, so the idea for tonight's topic was looking at maybe since Disney Plus came on the scene and other streaming. So maybe over the last 3 years, 4 years, or has it only been 3 years, right? But taking that time frame and then looking at Disney, the Pixar stuff, the MCU, Star Wars, and then saying, would you rather have what you've been getting the last 3 to 4 years on Disney Plus with the whole universe, the princess remakes, like everything you're getting there, right? Versus the field, meaning what we've seen the last 3 years at the DCU, Netflix, Apple TV, Paramount Plus, right? So, and before we give our answers, what I thought is we could look at this like tactfully and analytically and just
You mean
look
you
at
you
like
want
the highs
versus-
of like each side.
You want
And then,
versus
yeah, like
each
if you could
streaming
only have
system,
one-
or
Yeah, if you'd only have one, comparing like, are you taking Disney or the field, basically?
huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
You guys, I can tell you guys came prepared.
That's an
I'm
easy
prepared.
one for me. Yeah, that's an easy one for me.
Yeah. I thought you were doing like, do you want streaming services or do you want it back the way it was with like cable TV and stuff coming to like movie theaters? I guess.
Well, you can make that part of your argument,
Well,
right?
yeah, you could make that part of the argument.
That would work.
Either okay, yeah.
I've
As
got
long
a
as
simple
it's a-
answer to this.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's
I do,
yours?
Yeah.
I do too.
It's got to be Disney. You could take away all of the other content if you have a platform that's just solely delivering Star Wars content. That wins.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got new Marvel on top. That's just the cherry on top. I don't care for the live action remakes at all, but Disney's got a huge library. I think Ghost was saying the obvious, right? Like, I mean, I don't go back and watch a whole bunch of old Disney films. I probably will in the next few years, and I like them. But new Star Wars content, easy winner. I'm sure that's a surprising response, right?
Well,
Yeah.
but it just says that's like the value
Oh, doggy.
that just Star Wars by itself has for you,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like
Yeah,
Star Wars, you'll take Star Wars basically versus the field, and anything else that's good on top of the Star Wars, like you're saying, that's just a cherry on top. Is that good?
Yep.
I mean, that's cool, man. That just says that's your priority. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's how much you love it.
So I'll piggyback off what Eric said. For me, especially since Hulu's about to roll into Disney Plus,
yeah.
it's a no-brainer with keeping Disney Plus. HBO really fell off hard after this merger. I'm waiting for Warrior to wrap up. Season 3 of Warrior just came out, so like after that's on finishes out, I'm canceling my HBO and I'll probably test Paramount or one of the other smaller streaming services just to see what else is out there. But for me, yeah, Disney. I go back and watch Clone Wars a lot. I go back and watch Rebels a lot. I go back and watch the OT and the other Star Wars stuff a lot, even some of the shows. I watch.
But let me ask you this: do you not have all those on Blu-ray?
Oh, I do. I have them all on DVD and everything, and it's just for me, it's all in one place, and I could just put it on. But yeah, I don't know.
So
Especially
as a society, to confirm, we've evolved past the point of being willing to get up to put in physical media, and we're paying for a service. Basically, we're paying another company for us to not have to get up and get our.
I don't.
Media.
To be fair, I don't do that. I have a lot of physical media, mainly like for like the top properties I like. Star Wars and Marvel.
I do as well.
I don't stream anything that I have physical media for because I'm like I can get better quality guaranteed with that.
Yeah.
See, for me, I do because the problem with switching discs. It's not that I don't like putting the disc in first. It's the switching discs, because what I do is if I'm working on something and I could be working on like say a couple videos, both filming and editing and doing my overdubs and fixing things. If I sit there for 8 hours on a streaming service, I can click play and my Clone Wars will play for 8 hours. You know what I mean? I don't have to get up every 4 episodes and put in a new disc.
It's hard enough to get John to shower.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For the record, I do shower every day. That was just a joke, meaning it was to get up to go to a movie theater. You know what I mean?
That's one of the simplicity of it, though, John. Is definitely just being able to have it on and let it run, and then let it play whatever. The other like second close runner-up, I guess you could say, might be Peacock. It's another one that's got like a lot of stuff on it to watch, as opposed to classic shows, movies, stuff like that. They've been really like stepping their game up with stuff that they've been adding. So like that might be the close runner-up. Is like if you had to pick one or the other, that might be like the second place for me.
I would have thought Paramount would be second place because of the
Prime. Don't count out Prime.
See, I don't have Paramount Plus, and I don't have Prime. So like I'm not familiar with like what's on there or how the presentation is. That's what I was saying though. I might end up canceling HBO once Warrior's up and trying out one of the Paramount or one of those, because they do have like all the Transformer stuff's there. G.I. Joe's going to be there, all that stuff. Yeah.
The Apple TV is getting a lot of better content too.
Yeah, dude.
I was going to say, is that going to be your pick, dude? Because I saw your tweet earlier today.
I don't, I think it's like the way I was looking at this is would I take Disney or whatever else is out there? Like I could, if I had Disney, I couldn't have all these other options, right?
Yeah.
So, but just from Apple TV, like Silo's season finale, I thought that has been one of the best shows on TV. And I think with Apple, it's more slower, cerebral sci-fi. And it is a lot more show versus tell. Whereas I feel like Disney has been a lot of telling, for showing, a lot of MacGuffins, you know what I mean? And I think the other thing, in fairness, is, maybe the expectations are higher for me for Star Wars or some of the MCU stuff, and might not be coming through. But, I didn't have as high of expectations for Apple, right? And I feel like they're exceeding them. So there could be some recency bias with this. But I'm on the season finale of season 3 of For All Mankind. So no spoilers yet. I haven't watched it yet. But that show has been incredible. So I'm really impressed with that. So everything. And then I just started watching the Isaac Asimov one. I'm in like 3-4 episodes in God, I'm forgetting the name of that one.
Is it
in my head?
Is it just me, or does the Apple TV user interface suck? I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's for a company that prides itself on like user experience. I don't know how they messed that up.
Yeah, Peacock's the same way. Their user interface sucks as well.
It's better than Apple. Even Prime's not great, but like
Prime is better than the Apple interface. I agree. We have one Apple TV Plus that's 4K, but everything else in the house is a Prime stick just because of how easy it is to use.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying for like the Apple shows, like I've only been watching it for a month because we got 3 months free because my daughter got a new iPhone.
Yeah.
But just the quality of it overall, it's been well done. And you know, you guys have heard before, like with the Disney shows, I feel like every week was kind of a tease to get us talking about what's coming, and then it was kind of hard to pay off the build up. You know what I mean? With you know, and I think whereas Apple, it just they do a nice job, kind of again showing instead of telling as it goes through to where the finales I've seen have outlived expectations. And then yeah, you know, someone brought up Paramount. I mean, to me, the only reason is for the Star Trek shows. Because I had Paramount for a while, and there's really not much on there. And like, because Top Gun came out, Top Gun 2, and so that was cool that was on there. But other than that, they have the worst user interface actually to get through. But I think Picard might have been the show of the year. I mean, that's a contender for show of the year, especially now. That's a finale that paid off like big time. Has everyone seen Picard all the way through?
No, but I've heard what happened and everything like that, and I heard like that was basically what the sequel trilogy should have been. Like the way they did that is what Star Wars should have done.
And then they passed it off to the younger generation, which is the point, right, of the sequel trilogy. But they gave everybody who was fans of the first two trilogies kind of honored them, right? I mean, it being the equivalent, right? So, but not only that, but it was good storytelling, and everything that happened was earned. It just wasn't forced in a cameo fest, right?
And unfortunately, what I loved too was that the Picard season 3 was just so good with not just sticking to Next Generation. They brought in stuff from Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Yes.
And the whole era of that time, that 90s time period. They do any episode, anything that could happen, it's just like, holy crap, that's so and so, and they threw him in there, and you know what I mean? And it was so good just to see. You never knew who was going to pop up, because it could have been from any show, from anything in that 90s era. So that's what I like about it.
I can see your argument that like Disney's content, especially as of late, has been very formulaic, where like all their shows are pretty much circled around this build up of the season, and then you're left with a season finale to pack 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag, and it never really works out. So I understand
I got a theory. I got a thing about this right now, and it's not only with Disney Plus, but it's with streaming services as a whole. I don't understand. Like, this is why I like things like if you go on Roku, it's not on any given channel. There's an anthology sci-fi series that, instead of being locked to a channel, to a streaming service, they decided to what do you call it? Like, it's almost like it's in syndication. So like Tubi has it, Roku itself has it. It's on, I think it's on Apple TV. It's on Samsung's regular TV. Like, if you get a Samsung TV, they have their own streaming that comes with the TV.
LG does too. Yeah.
But it's an anthology series called Dust, D-U-S-T, and it's all science fiction stuff. And it's not broken into seasons. Like, this is the only show that I've seen that's doing it properly. If you have a streaming service, number one, there's no reason for an episode to stick to a time frame. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be a half hour, it could be 4 hours. It has no, because we have a pause button. It took me 4 nights to watch Avatar. I'm not going to sit down for 3 hours in one chunk and watch this new Avatar movie. I watched it over 4 different nights. I paused it when I got to a point where I was like, I'm done watching it tonight. I paused it and came back the next day, because I'm not a freaking sheep. I can watch it whenever I want. I can. We have streaming services. We can do whatever we want with that thing. We can pause it anytime we want. We continue anytime we want. It never loses track.
I definitely agree with that, because
And I don't agree with seasons anymore. I don't think, we're not a TV show. We don't have a block of time that has to be fought against with other networks. A show could go on every single week, bring out a new episode, and never ever stop. Just do it every week of the entire year. Have 365.
There's still some of those like release tropes that exist for, like, you don't want like shows will delay or like streaming services will delay the release of something so it doesn't have to compete with the latest whatever.
And that's a backwards thinking. That's a total
No,
wrong thinking. Because
sure.
what happens is if a new episode of Stranger Things comes out on Netflix and a new episode of Star Wars comes out on Disney Plus, I'm not going to sit there and watch Stranger Things and then go, well, I'm done watching TV today. I'm never going to watch Star Wars, even though it came out the same day. No, I'm going to watch them both.
But there are like metrics that drive like compensation behind the scenes for a lot of the production crews and whatnot.
I don't believe that. I just don't. I don't think that. I think that's backwards thinking, and it needs to go away.
I don't disagree. I just think it's at the end of the day, it's still a business. The one thing that is, I will say, going back to Disney Plus, the one thing they have wrong compared to like Apple TV, the one thing that they had right, I think they retracted this, is the timing of the release of the new content. For me, it's at 2 a.m. or like it's midnight Pacific. That is the dumbest thing on the face of the freaking earth. Yeah. Apple, like when I was watching like Ted Lasso, it came on at 8 p.m. Central for me the night before.
Silo came on at 9 o'clock.
Same thing with Max too. Max with like Game of Thrones and all that. It's like a set time for all of us, and we can all watch it at one time. Same thing with Last of Us. And like that's how you're getting metrics of television by that. If you're doing like a release where we can all tune in at one time, or we watch it at our leisure when we want to, now we're all going to be talking about that. That's why Last of Us was doing, what did it do? 8 million people by the end of the season? Like, TV's not getting those numbers anymore, and that's why, because they were running it under that type of system, as opposed to like, hey, let's stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and watch this and then talk about it. Or like for me, I got to wake up early for Star Wars to watch it before I go to work, and it's like,
and I mean, I'll do that, but like that sucks.
It sucks, dude, because like if not, you're getting spoiled by it. You're getting spoiled by it. If not, like that's the
only people that
right away, and I don't get spoiled.
The only people
like I'm up and I work all day, so by the time I get home, it's like 7 o'clock at night. So like if I don't watch it before I go to work, then I know what happens by the time I get home. There's no doubt about it.
I just don't pay attention to social media enough. Then.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, is there's just no need to release it that early in the morning. I really appreciated how Silo was up at 9 o'clock at night, and I got to
Apple had it
finale Thursday night.
Yeah, that's a solid way to do it. Yep.
That's a great way to do it, right? And then
I have it be an event.
You know, at that point, I have a couple hours to figure out and do it. But the other, the other two shows, one is Foundation, which I'm only 3 episodes into, which is a really cool science fiction show that's from an Isaac Asimov book. About humans spreading out into the galaxy and kind of what happens thousands of years in the future.
Yeah,
and then
a decent show. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I really like it so far. I'm only a few episodes in, but it's definitely slower sci-fi, which I don't mind. I really enjoy it. And then Severance, which is about you get an implant in your brain, and when you go into work, you forget your outside memories, and then when you're in work, you don't have any recollection of those, and then when you leave work, you have no recollection of what your inside memories are. So that I found that show really enjoyable as well.
I want to watch the one with Harrison Ford and Jason Segel.
Yeah,
a lot of people say that's good. Yeah, I think it's called Shrinking. I haven't seen it yet.
Shrinking.
But I gotta say, Apple TV, I've been really, really impressed with. Everything I've watched there is some of the best stuff I've seen in the last few years.
And like the quality too of the production is like super crystal clear.
Really high end. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And then Netflix has, I think, has been my new favorite show, which is Cobra Kai. I know I'm super late to the party there.
Really late to the party.
Man, that show is amazing.
They did that right.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it doesn't drop off. It's one of those rare shows that doesn't drop off. Every season it keeps going and getting just as good as it was ever,
And I love how they incorporated everybody from all the other films. Everybody. And then people you forgot. The last season. Yeah. Background characters that were like
someone else comes back. Yeah. But everybody serves a purpose, which is great.
Yeah, they do.
Man, the cliffhanger for, what was that, season 5? Yeah. was fantastic, and then season 6 comes in the fall. So I feel
That's
like
it. That's the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I hope. Oh, is that really going to be the last season?
Yeah, that's it. And then they're doing
I guess all
another
the kids
Karate
are like
Kid
28
movie.
now. Like all those kids are 28 playing.
Well, the one kid's gonna be Blue Beetle, and then
Blue Beetle. Yeah, I saw that trailer beforehand. Yeah.
The one show that I found recently that I really enjoy is Righteous Gemstones on HBO.
Danny McBride is so good.
Him and John Goodman, man, together, like playing father and son, and then they got the kid from Pitch Perfect in there, and it's like it's making fun of like a lot of the televangelists and like preachers that, you know, Joel Osteen and all those that like make millions and millions of dollars.
Mega churches.
It's hilarious.
Do yourself a favor and go watch every show that Danny McBride like helped make, like Vice Principals. Eastbound and Down.
My
God. Eastbound was hilarious. Yeah.
This is basically it's all the same cast, John, like from Eastbound in this Righteous Gemstones, and then he's got some of the people from Vice Principals, some of the people from Sons of Anarchy are involved in it. It's really like
I really enjoyed Ashley Schaefer. I love when Ashley Schaefer was on.
Who's that?
Was that Eastbound and Down? He was Will Ferrell, the competing
car
salesman.
Yeah.
Was it Ashley Slater BMW?
They were doing the what was it, like the batting practice or whatever in the car lot. Yeah.
But I gotta say that one of the apps that most impresses me right now is Tubi. That Tubi app is because they've got G.I. Joe. They got all the G.I. Joe. There's like 4 or 5 different G.I. Joe series on there. They got all the Transformers.
Shipped out stuff too. They're basically the ones who are leasing all the properties from some of the bigger streaming companies. So like it's a totally free app. You could download it on your streaming service, and all that you do is you just make an account. So then this way you could save your progress and save
progress.
list.
It's basically network TV that's streaming.
Yeah, and they're basically paying for all these classic movies and classic shows and stuff from other companies. So I've been watching
I Dream a Genie. I've been watching like all the stuff, so the Sanford and Son, like all these old shows.
You know, we watched last night
Elf.
on it. We watched MXC. Do you guys remember MXC, Most Extreme Challenge?
Oh
no.
yeah.
So MXC, but we had to do it, and it wasn't bad because each episode is an hour long, and there were only 4 commercial breaks, and each one was 30 seconds. And I'm like, all right, that's fair, dude. Like I get to watch MXC, you know, from 20 years ago.
And what they do for like some movies is they'll give you like a long preview before the movie starts, and then you only have like one commercial break throughout the whole thing because they'll give you like a longer one, you know, for like before the movie.
It's also with some of the half-hour sitcoms. Like I've been watching Gilligan's Island and like I said, I Dream a Genie and stuff. And so what they'll do is they put the commercial between each episode.
Okay.
So you don't get the episode's not interrupted. It's when the episode ends, and while it's playing, if you have it set to autoplay to the next, it'll put a commercial in between, so your show is never interrupted. And I love that.
The one I was watching was Freebie.
Freebie is like
Freebie.
That's the Amazon one, right?
Yeah, that's the Amazon one. Yeah, because it was on the Prime. Yeah, the Prime.
Yeah, that one's good too. Same type of deal. But
I introduced my wife to Alf on Freebie.
Outstanding work.
Alf's on Tubi also, and so is the cartoon.
Now, most importantly, how did she enjoy Alf?
What?
Didn't like it.
Her metric for liking movies is, or like movies and TV, is if it came out before she was born, it's old and bad, generally speaking.
Oh wow,
that's not true.
No, I know.
So she would hate Casablanca. That's incredible.
Oh, it's my life's mission to expose her to culture.
And what about all the Hepburn movies? I mean, I love a lot of those. Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I mean, come on, those are like amazing, great movies.
Yeah.
I was binging Indiana
Bullet.
Jones,
Bullet's incredible. You can't pass up Bullet.
We watched on Tubi the live action Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, that's a
couple
classic.
weeks ago.
It's
My wife was
so
like,
bad.
My wife is like, "What is this?"
It's really bad, but it's good bad.
Yeah,
I
it's a
love it.
classic. Same thing with
I didn't realize.
Fighter. I
I
watched
didn't.
Street Fighter not too long ago. That was still like held up for me at least. I know it's like corny,
Like the
but
one
it's
with
still
David Hasselhoff.
No, the one with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Ming Na Wen and all
Oh
that.
wait, no, David Hasselhoff was Nick Fury. Sorry, we're getting off track here too.
Yeah, that original Street Fighter, I still have a love in my heart for that.
Yeah, that
just
was.
like I said,
what
it's
I'm
got
saying.
Ming Na Wen and
Yeah, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. There's a lot of people in that, and it's just like it was a good, it was
cheesy.
good for what it was at the time. Yeah,
it's just cheesy, but you have to enjoy it. I will say. So we watched Over the Top last night.
Yeah, I just watched that, dude. How did we pick the same movie to watch?
Dude, okay, how messed up is the concept of Over the Top?
Oh, it's crazy.
Like he like you think about it, he shows up to pick up his son, which he hasn't seen in years and years. And then they leave together and he doesn't even know who this guy is. And then the first night he makes him spend the night in his truck.
Yeah.
And then he takes them to like this biker bar and does arm wrestling in front of him. So he's just met this guy. He's like a stranger. He
essentially kidnapped
and then
him
he basically kind of essentially kidnaps him, and now he's in a biker bar arm wrestling for people for money. All right. Then they leave, and then the next day he's showing him in the car, like with this pull. He's got this pull down weight thing, showed him how to arm wrestle to Kenny Loggins in the background, right? And then they stop and they're doing calisthenics that are for arm wrestling. And then he stops at an arcade and he finds some kid who's bigger than him and then forces him to arm wrestle this other kid for money. This is what's happened in the first 3 days of meeting his son. Like, it's a messed up movie. And then Sylvester Stallone drives his truck through the front gate of the grandfather's house. And while I agree the grandfather's a D-bag, you can't really drive your truck through the front of somebody's house like that and demand your kid. Like, he just met you a couple days ago. Like, you're crazy. So that movie, while I have fond memories of it because it came out when I was 10, it truly is a horrible and frightening movie. Like, it's really a terrifying movie. It is that could happen.
So it really is horrible and terrifying.
It is. I highly recommend you watch it as an adult. You're just in horror the whole time. Like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, what kind of parent does this? But just for the Kenny Loggins and then the Sammy Hagar, it's worth it.
Well, and what's funny
by the way,
is
Meet Me Halfway is playing through the entire movie.
What's funny is that so many films, even modern films, like have just completely copied that movie. Robot Jocks is the same movie, except instead of an arm wrestler, he's fighting with like a robot that he built and has a joystick that he controls.
So he kidnaps his son.
And makes him fight robots. Yeah, it's the same damn movie as Over the Top. So with Hugh Jackman, that robot movie with Hugh Jackman. What was it?
Real Steel?
Was it called Real Steel
or something like that? Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah,
that wasn't good.
We watched
it's
it.
the same movie
So
Gilster
makes a great point to continue getting physical media for things you like.
Oh yeah,
since
definitely.
HBO Max went to Max, he lost my Curb Your Enthusiasm. So that thankfully, I think I have seasons 1 through 5 and like a collection of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I don't have those other seasons. But yeah, Curb is a reason to have HBO Max. Curb Your Enthusiasm is Larry David is brilliant,
genius.
I know. I think we're all on the same boat though, right? Like we would love for Disney to release Mando and Obi-Wan on physical media because I would buy it immediately.
Yep.
Like,
think there's a reason why they don't. They want.
Well, that's why.
Okay, so here's what I'm doing with Disney Plus, and I got to tell you, I feel way more satisfied with the product. So I bought it basically for 2 months, and I waited until it was the end of Mando. So it was that week. So I watched basically 3 episodes a night. Then the finale came out and I watched it. And I felt like watching Mando like that. It was kind of like a movie a night instead of like a snippet over whatever that 7-8 weeks. I
Which was
thought I
probably better
enjoyed it
watching
much
this
more.
season. Yeah.
It was more, yeah. It's basically conducive to like making 2 movies or 3 movies, how you want to cut it up. And
Yeah.
I'd almost, I'd much rather have like that kind of a cut than the short. But again, watching it in like those bite-sized chunks, I don't think I got as frustrated as other people watching it over the long
Week to
season.
week.
And then
Yeah.
I felt like, all right, that's cool to subscribe for the month to like watch that movie, right?
Mhm.
And then
Well,
I
that's-
got to watch Ant-Man. So I was like,
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
that's another thing I was
that
going to
was
bring.
awful.
That's another thing I was going to bring up is that there's no reason for you to subscribe to any of these services for a full year.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
my dad loves Netflix, so we're stuck with it. We get it all year round.
Yeah.
But in Disney, we got one of their package deals when we got Disney Plus, and it was good for like 3 years, and that's still going. So where you get it for like $2.99 a month or whatever.
Yeah, that was the intro promotion.
We signed up for the full term, whatever it was, and we basically paid up front, I think, too. If it was,
I brought an
if
apple
I
pie.
remember right. But
I was hungry.
but other than that, like I only get like when Strange New Worlds is done, or like you said, maybe the last week. That's when I will. That's when I will.
That's
buy,
why I'm gonna do the same.
That's when I will buy
sign up.
1 month. I'll pay for 1 month of Paramount, watch all the Star Trek stuff, and catch up. And then I let it go, and I might buy it again for 1 month, like 6 months later, and catch up again. And I do that with a lot of them, like HBO, Paramount. Like a lot of these things, I will only get for 1 or 2 months. And when I finish binging everything, I'll cut that one off and rotate to the next one.
Yeah, that's what
there's no reason to pay for some of these things all year round.
No.
And if you happen to be a Comcast subscriber, like if your area you got, like I know my mom's area,
Peacock.
that's like the only way to get some of the channels that she wants to watch. But then you get Peacock for free with that.
Yeah, that's
like
what
part of the package. So
and if if you have a Verizon Unlimited, you get the Disney bundle for free.
Yeah, you get a Disney thing through Verizon and Hulu, right? Yeah.
And then Walmart now, if you have the Walmart Plus, you get Paramount Plus. That's how they partnered that up. So there's a lot of.
I'm gonna wait until Strange New World's final week. Right?
Yeah, and that's
then I'll do Paramount Plus for the month, and then I'm like, you know what? That's cool to pay for Strange New Worlds. Like that's they get
that's definitely
know that it's going towards Star Trek. Like keep making more Star Trek, right? But then I'll watch whatever's watchable for the month, right? Whatever movies are on there, and then I'll cancel that. And then that's what I'm doing now is I'm hopping. But I think right now the best value for my money has been Apple TV. And I would put Netflix second just because Cobra Kai has been so good. And that's like the first show my 14-year-old daughter will sit and watch with me in I don't know how long. And she loves Cobra Kai and I love it too. And it's like, so that's our thing is we watched a few episodes and then we binge watched the last season, which was fantastic.
Yeah, no, like so for a while Netflix wasn't putting out content because they were waiting to do the password thing. And then once they did the password thing, that's when Black Mirror came out. That's when all these other movies So I got booted off Netflix because I was using somebody's password for years. Like that was how I used Netflix. So like I'm probably gonna have to end up caving and like paying for Netflix now. But yeah, I'm gonna do the same with HBO Max. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be renting that I think from now on and like not subscribing because none of the movies that I wanted, like I loved watching Ghostbusters on there. I loved watching some of like the classic movies and now they're all gone. They sold them off to Tubi or whatever, so they're free anyway. So there's really no point in paying for Max outside of like renting it, like you guys were saying, just for Game of Thrones or Batman or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know?
Just 1 month at a time when something came out that you want to watch,
that's
it. Yeah. And the other thing too is you always got to look like so when my brother passed, he was paying for Netflix for my mom for up there, and my mom was sharing it, and she complained, well, now Netflix is gone. And I went on and looked. There's actually a $4.99 plan.
No, it's cheap. That's what I'm saying. It's not bad.
But there's limited or something, or I don't know how it works, but there's a limited thing of what she can do. But it's like, so she just paid for that plan. So some of these services have multiple. Like I know Hulu has multiple stages, right? There's like 3 or 4 different plans. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I know what it was. Is Netflix has like a base plan, and then there's one that has like
4K.
No,
yeah,
no
like a
commercials.
higher tier with more hours to watch, and then there's one with 4K and like all this, and it's unlimited or something like that. Yeah, so there's different levels, and you might find a level at a cheaper price that works for you because my mom only watches like 2 or 3 shows. She's not watching it 24/7, so the $4.99 plan works for her. You know, so it's kind of like
what I'm saying. It definitely gives you an option now with as opposed to like this is kind of what TV is geared towards now. It's just like, all right, well, how many streaming services are you going to pay for? But then, like John was saying, with Xfinity, you also get the Xfinity. What's it
you
called?
do get an Xfinity app too with it, right? Yeah,
yeah, but
to
it's
play
like
your recorded shows.
But then you also get like TV with it. It's like Xfinity Stream or something like that. It's called. Yeah, it's like because like they give you like a little box with it, but then you get Peacock and stuff like that. But then like with my LG TV, I get the LG TV channels, which there's like 900 free channels that comes with. So like they're giving options. It's just dependent on what you actually want to watch. And like, all right, I'm into this. This is the streaming service for you. Then if you're into
and the other,
Oh,
the other thing that's happening too is like at the beginning of next year. So our condo here, we've got 5,000 condos in this little area. So we're like a gold mine to where'd dude go? So we're like a gold mine to like companies that want to service this area, okay?
Yeah.
And we had a deal with Comcast where they gave us like 35 channels or whatever, and we paid like $20, and it's in our monthly dues. We don't actually pay it every month; it's just in our dues.
It's just part of your.
But they've now switched to a thing where now we're going to get a service that's totally free, and what it is they're going to give us 300 megabyte internet fiber optic. It's fiber with 300 megs per second. If we want to pay for the 1 gig, we pay like an extra $10.
That's not bad. Then. That's
and
great.
Then they said we get 300 channels, including HBO, Showtime, and Cinemax.
Wow.
And we get the streaming services of Disney, Netflix, Peacock, like HBO streaming,
like a bundle.
Max. We get a bundle of streaming services, and all that stuff is free. Because they got the 5,000 units. So what they're counting on is us doing an add-on. There's like a $20 add-on where we can get a few other channels like NFL Network and stuff, that Redbox, the Red Zone and all that, which my dad's going to get. So that'll be an add-on. And then we're going to go up to the 10 gig or to the 1 gig fiber so that we're the same as what we have now. But that basically gets rid of, we're paying AT&T $80 a month.
Yeah,
for fiber for the fiber gig, so that gets rid of the $80 bill, and we're gonna be able to stop paying for Netflix because it comes with the system. We're gonna be able to stop paying for HBO Max because that comes with the system. You know what I mean? So there are places that are starting to bundle these things with like an internet fiber TV company that. And this, I think it's called Hyperspace or Hyperlink or something like that.
But are they going to throttle your bandwidth based on data consumption?
No. The thing is each condo has its own. It's not shared with any other condo, so we get that 300 meg line all to ourselves, alone. And when we upgrade to the 1 gig, it's alone, just us. Only what's in our condo is what's using that individual line.
See, the thing I was going to say earlier, if
August 1st for Guardians, it's on.
I have Comcast. I still have cable plus all the streaming subscriptions, but I avoid at all costs to use the Xfinity Stream app because you got like data limits, right? And the more you stream,
this isn't through Comcast. This is
no.
No,
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you're streaming just with whatever ISP you're using, just make sure you're not going over your data usage. Because then they'll throttle your bandwidth or charge you.
Yeah. They say it's totally unlimited. We had to sit down with them, and then we also got a guy coming to look. Because the other thing is, they also want it to be wireless. And I had a guy when I was at the thing. I was like, "Can we get at least one wire because I want my PlayStation actually plugged in. I want it hardwired in." And they said, "Well, we'll bring a guy over to assess your situation individually, and they might give us a box that we can plug into the wireless thing, and then that can plug into the PlayStation, so I have a wired connection.
Yeah.
But if it's still going, like, there's not much point in wiring something to a box that's wireless, right?
No.
Like,
The box. No. See, the fiber
box
comes
is
in the
hooked
house.
into
The fiber goes into
Okay.
the house and goes into a box, and
Okay.
that box is Wi-Fi to
Okay.
the place. So
Okay.
but there's a plug
there's
to
a
put
switch.
into that.
There's a
Yeah.
Okay, there's a switch
Yeah.
there. Okay.
So he's like, you
I was
can
gonna
plug
say-
into that.
I was gonna say, what, you're gonna have like some
No.
wireless access point that you're just gonna wire from that.
No, that's the same difference.
I'm like,
Yeah,
that's redundant.
yeah. No, it'll be hardwired in. I'm gonna make sure of it.
Yes, it's off topic.
Well, no, but it's not quite off topic, because my point is they're starting to bundle these services into package deals that are cheaper than buying Comcast Xfinity cable alone.
Or
And you get
dealing with
more,
wireless providers.
plus you get all these streaming services. Now, I don't know what level streaming services they're going to give us. Netflix will probably be the base level, and if we want to go to 4K, it might be another $5 a month. You know what I mean? But at least you get the base level of like 10 different streaming services on top of 300 or 400 channels, you know.
Yeah.
And the channels are all the normal channels, like Cartoon Network, like I said, HBO, Cinemax, and Showtime is included. Like
It's definitely a steal then. in
Discovery, Sci-Fi, like everything's there. So I mean, it's incredible. But I know from their perspective, it's like, even if we can get every single condo to spend $5, that's $5 a month times 5,000 units. They're going to make bank off giving us the service. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it says
did
The
you
Flash
guys-
comes out July 18th, and then someone said Guardians comes out beginning of August. So on streaming.
August 1st.
So
it
I
comes
haven't.
to DVD, so I'm guessing it's the same day. That's what I'm, because it's out on digital
and I
now,
have-
or the 18th.
So for
I
me,
think.
I'll probably just wait to watch Guardians until I subscribe to Ahsoka, which I'm getting because probably end of
Yeah.
August, September, and then I'll just watch because I haven't seen it yet. And
It's
then
so good.
Flash, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure it will be. So I'm looking forward to it. And then, but that
And
again,
Indiana Jones
I'm
will be out by then
subscribing
too.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
I'm
Indiana
subscribing
Jones.
for Ahsoka, then we'll get Guardians, and then hopefully Indiana Jones at the same time, and then whatever, and then I'll watch Secret Invasion as well because I'm not in a hurry
That's
to
been
watch
good.
that.
It hooked me this week. This week, I got to give them credit. This was the first Disney Marvel show that I actually like went back and rewatched. Like I rewatched this last episode 3 times because I was just like, all right, I got to see
Oh, really?
certain things that they were pointing out.
Really?
And
Well,
like,
they had good
So
good
there were a lot
dialogue.
of hints then. Like
They
Yeah.
had good.
hidden.
This episode had good dialogue, good argument, like
Yep.
inside of it, like that.
and now you're literally questioning everyone that you're watching in the show
Yeah.
the whole entire time. You're like, is this person a Skrull? Is this person a Skrull? Is this person a Skrull? Are these 2 Skrulls having a conversation and don't know the other person's a Skrull? It's just very, now you're like, they did a very, very good job this past week of like reaffirming that
don't
like,
spoil.
any,
No
oh no, I'm
spoilers.
not. I'm just saying that they reaffirm that like anything is possible, I guess, in these next, what's there, 4 more episodes left? Because it's six
Yeah.
in total. So I definitely
Well,
was.
and they did
I
a
look
quick
forward to
lip
watching
service
it.
to people who read the comic book, and being like, well, this is so far off from the comic, why would you do that? They did a quick lip service to say like, well, we couldn't do that because of blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it kind of makes you go, all right, I guess that's why it's so different than the comic. Because
But
quite
at this
frankly,
point,
this isn't Secret Invasion. If you read the comics, this is not.
Yeah. Well,
But
they even said that the director the director was specifically told, don't even bother reading the book because it's nothing like.
They just
like,
shouldn't have called it Secret Invasion, in my opinion. It should have been something else.
but at this point, why would anyone look at any piece of content in the MCU and ask, is it like the comics?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
I know.
Like,
Kevin
like-
Feige's
like,
they've gone so far off the rails that it's everything is totally different now.
We've had what, 15 years of the MCU, and you're still asking that question. They're going to do what fits best for their storyline.
But now to counter that point, you have James Gunn, who just took over DC, right? And he put a mandate in across all platforms. So not only in animation, in the comic books, in anything they're doing now going forward, it's all supposed to be uniform. And I gotta say, the first couple books of Batman with the Brave and the Bold that are now like part of this new DC, I was very impressed with how they're doing these comics. Like, and if it's all supposed to like tie in, we're supposed to have the same actors doing the voices for animation and live action. This could be kind of cool. That could be okay.
Well, they're starting, but they're starting fresh, right? They have the opportunity with a slate to do that. There's too much pre-existing content for Marvel to say.
No, I understand that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but my argument is that up to Endgame, it was pretty much following the comics. They didn't alter anyone's origin. They didn't change a whole lot of stuff. The only stuff they changed, even up through Endgame, was just that, well, they didn't have the rights to Silver Surfer, so instead they had the Incredible Hulk crash through the window instead of Silver Surfer to crash through the window. So it was minor changes like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
but little things are okay. Yeah,
but now they've done where since Endgame and even in through, like, you know, some of these other things that they've gone, it's like they've taken the Guardians approach where they've just been like, let's completely rewrite the whole thing. Yeah. You know, so not a single element of it was in any comic ever. You know,
that's why I'm very.
I like how
James Gunn's going to do.
They could have just made Kamala Khan a mutant instead of having her power come from the Bengals.
Well, they did at the end.
They did, but I mean, you didn't need to put the Bengals into it, right? Because like her comic was really about her dealing with being an Inhuman, which in here they could just make a mutant.
Because after the Inhuman show flopped, they got rid of Inhumans out of the whole universe.
But they did. That's done.
but apparently, I can't remember what interview I saw about this, but one of the creators or co-creators of Kamala Khan said that the original intent was for Ms. Marvel to be a mutant, but there was like a mandate from upstairs at Marvel Comics. I don't know if it was like Joe Quesada or someone said no.
Because at the time,
gotta be an Inhuman, right?
Well, because at that time, what Marvel was going through was they were doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and really focusing heavy on like the Targaryen Mist and the Inhumans. And there was a mandate that like the X-Men were going to be shelved because of Fox.
Yeah.
So because of the Fox deal, they shelved Fantastic Four and they shelved X-Men, and they were going to push the Inhuman thing as like, they're our mutants, they're our guys, we have the rights to them. And then once that flopped and that all fell through, they switched course, and now the Inhumans are the ones that they're like, we don't want any part of the Inhumans.
But I'm okay with it. That's a positive change, right?
Yeah. No, it is what it is. I mean, and now like going forward, Kamala is a mutant, and they've kind of fixed everything in that regard. But then they just killed her off in Spider-Man, even though she's got a movie coming out, which didn't really make any sense. Like, I was like, so you're gonna kill her off for like a month or two because literally her movie comes out in August. So. You're not going to have the character dead when a movie's coming out.
Well, it's an alternate.
Which character?
They killed Kamala Khan in Spider-Man. They had her basically sacrifice herself to pose as Mary Jane to like.
In the comics.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm talking about though. That she's got an MCU movie coming out in 2 months or 3 months, whenever the movie drops. And they killed her off in the comic book. So, like, it's kind of a moot point because you already know she's coming back by the time the movie.
But comic continuity is
for long.
No
one dies for long.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And like once they did it, it was kind of just like, so what is the point of even doing this? Especially since like she's going to be back by the time the movie comes out. Like it's just kind of I don't know. They've been doing some very very weird things in the comic books lately with some of the lines. It's yeah.
Well, I think it's the thing that I've always said is
comics are definitely off topic. That's a flag right there. That's a flagrant. So I want to. Left Coast brought up Peacemaker, and so for HBO Max, for sure, like that's something to subscribe. That is something I would buy in physical media. But I'm also disappointed that it seems like it's going to be years before a Peacemaker series comes out.
Well, yeah, after Superman, it's the next thing he's working on directly after Superman.
So that's going to be a while, I think, right?
So probably like 2 to 3 years, I'd say, before we get Peacemaker.
Yeah, dude. So So that's kind of.
But he's gonna be. So the way they worked it is that his original season date of like next year, whatever it was for season 2, that's being reworked into the Amanda Waller show, and he's going to be featured in the Amanda Waller show. But then season 2 of Peacemaker will be right after Superman. That's going to be James Gunn's like next thing that he's working on after Superman.
I'm looking forward to Peacemaker season 2.
What did you? Can we ask what you guys did? You see the casting news? Like, what do you guys think of
No,
the
I haven't
Superman
seen
and Lois?
anything of that. I didn't even know there was a Superman
I don't
show
know.
till right now, or till like an hour ago.
What'll be a movie? Yeah.
They're both like unknowns. The one girl's
I didn't know who they
She's
were,
not unknown.
but
She's the star of Marvelous Miss Maisel.
I was just about to say that's what her show is on Prime, but
I've never heard of it.
She's
cool.
from the woman who's playing Lois Lane is from Highland Park. She went to my high school, Rachel Brosnahan.
That's cool. But I like that they're not like super famous people that they pulled into there. You know what I mean? That like.
And the other guy looks like
that's really cool.
Like he looks like spitting image of just a younger version.
He looks pretty scrawny. That's the only thing. I've never seen him in anything. I don't know anything about the guy. He does not look buff enough for.
Well,
Superman.
they'll buff him up. These guys always go through a training regimen before they take
the
parts.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't look like he's got the base build, right? Like you can put muscle, but if you have a slight frame, you're still gonna.
How was his inseam all right?
I'm not sure if you picked up on the eye roll there, but. But like physical features aside or whatever, like I have full faith in James Gunn for anything. So
what my question though is like what is kicked out of the DCU and what's still in? Because if Peacemaker's still in as the same actor,
so
it already started because season 1 still exists of Peacemaker. But
it's going to change because the only thing that's the consistent thing in the new DCU so far is his wife and the other dude from Peacemaker. So his wife and the heavyset dude with the beard and the glasses. If you've watched like Shazam and you watch the cutscenes for some of the different movies, that's supposed to be the only thing staying is his wife and that dude recruiting and building.
I gotta think they have to just kill it all. Yeah. Anything.
I mean, if you watch Flash, that's basically what they did. Everything's gone. Everything. It's all back.
I haven't seen it. Thanks for.
I mean, you kind of knew that.
What about Amanda Waller then? I mean, that's.
It's different because of the way everything plays out. So like they're keeping Amanda Waller, they're keeping Peacemaker, they're keeping Blue Beetle. It sounds like they're going to keep Shazam. Gal Gadot's still on the fence if she's going to be back or not. I think they should just recast she's great as Wonder Woman, but if you are doing something new with an origin story and like
I think you gotta wipe the slate.
I think you gotta go all the way across.
Yeah, that's what
I think
was
you just
hoping.
Totally everybody's got it.
They were good.
Peacemaker, yeah. Other than the Peacemaker cast, just you gotta.
And that's pretty much what he's doing though. And like I guess Momoa is the other one that's the question mark. Is like he gonna stay on or not? Because
who cares?
They did some fuck shit in Flash where like he's the same Aquaman.
I haven't seen Flash.
He doesn't look like Aquaman, so I say let him go.
It's not a spoiler. It's literally just the same Aquaman.
I don't want to hear. I'm waiting till look. Now I got to put this up because you're like people expect integrity on this.
All I know is that it just resets.
No more spoilers.
Things.
Yeah, they really have to like. I agree. If you're casting a new Superman, you went young. You're gonna do All-Star Superman, Grant Morrison. That's gonna be cool to see. But it's gonna be interesting now to see who they cast as Batman. Because like that run of Grant Morrison's book, you have like an older Batman that's been doing it for a little while and has Damian, and then you have like a younger Superman. I kind of like that dynamic of like Bruce being like the one already been Batman for years, and like Clark's just the one starting out. That's a cool way to kind of have them play off each other.
I want that, but I want Batman young enough where we could have
Well, yeah,
build up to then like see a proper, like what I'd like to see is get an origin, like a Batman movie where Talia's in it as the main antagonist, and then the sequel is like 12 years later.
Well, they're probably going to
meets Damien.
They're probably going to do Birth the Demon story. So like it's both stories combined into one movie, and that's pretty much like what they'll do.
Cool.
They'll do the Talia story and then show you Damien. They'll do a time jump with Damien coming into the future.
I think Talia was underserved in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh yeah. I'm interested to see who's gonna play Bruce. Like I really want dude from Supernatural and the boys, Jensen Ackles. I think he'd just be fucking awesome.
He voice acts for doesn't he do the voice for Batman? Okay, yeah. His voice is good as Batman. He's respectable.
I think he's like perfect age to where like he could be Damien's dad, but still be like young enough to where like you can keep him around for like the next 10 years. I think that'd be cool.
He's good on The Boys. I never watched Supernatural, but The Boys is a really cool show on Prime.
Yeah. He was Jason in Under the Red Hood. He did the voice for Red Hood in that like animated movie, and then as of recently, he's been doing the voice of Batman for the animated stuff.
That's why I like Max right now, is because a couple of the new animated DC stuff has already been released on Max.
Oh, is it on there now?
Yeah.
The new one with the Lovecraft Batman.
I watched it the other night.
Cthulhu Batman.
I love the
animation
Batman on there.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. I give him that.
I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
So what else is on Max right now? Because right now all we have is Apple TV, Netflix, and then Prime.
So Warrior, the final season of Warrior, the Bruce Lee show came out, which is incredible. The first three episodes of that dropped on Friday, and so awesome, such a great show.
I was just gonna say, Max has the old Kurosawa films.
Yeah, they just put up like a bunch of Bruce Lee stuff too, like Enter the Dragon and what's the other TV show? Kung Fu. They put up like all the old episodes of that. Not too much though, like new on HBO Max. That's been kind of the problem with them, is like they're not putting out content because they're leasing their content to people like Tubi and some of the other apps now. So it's like you can go someplace else and watch the stuff that you wanted to watch on HBO.
Yeah, that's messed up. I mean, we unsubscribed from HBO a while ago, and like I just haven't seen a ton of need to go back. But
there's really not. It's basically like you'll catch up on Flash when that comes out. Like that's what I was saying. That's why I'm leaning towards like I'm just gonna rent HBO Max, and that'll be the one that like I just rent.
Yeah, do it for the month.
It's not worth it.
Well, how many new cartoons are on there?
Just that new Batman one, and then there was something else too. I think.
Yeah, there was two. There was something
Wonder
else
Woman,
there, yeah,
right, or something like that.
I don't remember, but
yeah, they put out like a couple. But even those movies, like even the DC stuff, they're gonna start shipping off to some other networks. So like the classic Batman movies, the classic stuff like that, it's all gonna be on Tubi and available for free elsewhere. So it's like
that is true. I think that the original '89 Batman stuff, those first four movies are on Tubi. Yeah. So I mean,
I don't understand what they're doing. It's like they don't want their streaming service to succeed. It's the only thing I can come up with.
And it seems like they really like leaned into the discovery aspect of like their streaming service now, because like that's the stuff they're really pushing on people, is like, oh, watch Ghost Hunters or watch this or watch that, and like it's interesting.
Because nobody wanted to get up and take a shower and spend all the time going to the theater to see it when there's stuff like Indiana Jones and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to watch.
Yeah.
And a Super Mario movie, like.
Gilster said nobody's talking about Transformers. I didn't see it.
I want to see it.
I heard from the people who are like big
streaming.
Transformers fans that they liked it.
Which service will it be on? Peacock? Is it produced by Universal,
or would it be on Paramount?
It's either Paramount or Peacock, one or the other. Yeah, because it should be Paramount because that's where all the Transformer stuff is. But Universal has dibs on some stuff too because of the way the rights work out. So
Yeah,
because I'll watch that on streaming.
I'll
for
watch
sure.
it as soon as it comes to streaming. But I tell you, like I'm not going to the theater to watch movies lately, just because.
neither am I.
When I was up
We
visiting
went
my
for Across
mom,
the Spider-Verse.
it's
Okay.
not just this, but when I was up visiting my mom, I said, "Do you want to go see Indiana Jones?" Because I thought it came out a week or so ago instead of this week or whatever. And she said, "I wouldn't mind seeing the new Indiana Jones," but she said, "I really don't feel like going to the theater." And I'm like, "Why?" And she goes, "Because it takes too long. You got to drive all the way over there. You got to get there a little bit early. You know, it's like you got
not with this one with the half-hour credits.
You know, and
Yeah.
like,
previews.
But yeah, no, I
Yeah,
get what you're saying. And just by the time you spend the money, you do everything, you can just watch it at home.
There's 20 minutes of commercials. Then you get done after 2 hours of sitting there and you got to drive all the way back. She goes, by the time you're finished with
It's
a
a whole
2-hour
day.
movie,
Yeah.
you spent 4 hours doing a 2-hour movie. And she goes, I'd rather just wait for it to be on at home. And then I don't have to spend 4 hours with something that's just 2 hours long. You know?
No, I agree. That's what I've been lately. Is same way. It's like I haven't felt anything like been compelling enough to like want to go. Like I have to go see it the first day it comes out. The last one I did was
especially when they're on the streaming service. So like I couldn't believe Super Mario Brothers was already on streaming.
Yeah, and it's going to be on
it
Peacock.
Literally it was in the theaters 2 weeks ago.
It's going to be on Peacock?
Yeah. It's already on. I already watched it.
That's what we were. Somebody in the group chat mentioned that yesterday. That like it's gonna be hitting Peacock. I think it was Chris, Red Ranger Chris.
Nice.
What did you think of? What did you think of Spider-Verse, dude? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The animation was out of this world. If what they said is true, though, you know, I don't condone those working conditions if it was bad as some of the things you saw. So I hope that they take their time. And give people better work-life balance, but it was out of this world. The animation, just how it kept changing styles, and how they blended the same styles on or multiple styles on the same screen. It was a fantastic story, and I like what they built into for the third movie that'll come. And it was a
14-year-old kid that did all that Lego animation. 14 years old, that kid is.
That's crazy, man. But the
I need to see that again.
They do a multiverse story like that. Yeah. It really was. It was a true multiverse story, which was so cool.
Yeah, I need to see that one again. I had a rough night the night before I saw that.
With the baby.
Oh yeah.
So, but I think that's the first movie I've seen in theaters maybe since John Wick.
Okay. Right.
Oh, I haven't seen
4. Not the first one.
I haven't seen 4.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to come on Peacock. That's what I was waiting for. That's supposed to hit.
I bought
in the next week or two.
The 4K Blu-ray for that one.
Okay.
Because I wanted that one on physical media, so I have the first 3 are in like a collection, and then I just added 4. Because that's a must own, I think.
Yeah, no, that's a nice collection one to have, especially when you have the other ones. Like we were saying, certain stuff, it's just like you have to buy it too. You have to have it, especially if you have other ones in your collection. You know, it's better to have.
I have the whole first Phase 1 MCU on Blu-ray, and then I have all the Star Wars, except for the sequel trilogy on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
that you can have.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing,
I got some of the.
I don't buy anything anymore. Because I have Vudu. We get everything on streaming, but I'll buy it on Vudu when it's less than $10. You know, I just wait. I wait till it's $10 or less, and I've bought a lot of older movies when they have those 3 for $10 sales, or 5 for $15 or whatever they do. You know,
I have to have, like, even with books, I have to buy physical media. I need the book, I need the comic book, I need the DVD, and like I have it, it's mine. And like, because one thing I have noticed, especially with Peacock and The Office, if you're a fan of The Office, so like I've watched The Office a million times. I know the seasons in and out. I know the episodes in and out. As time goes on and certain things become not acceptable in like the realm of public, you know what I mean? Like in social standards, they go back and edit those episodes, and they start.
Or they get rid of the episode.
Yeah, or the episode's totally gone, and like I don't think a lot of people pick up on certain things being like taken out of the episodes, but like That's what I'm afraid of with certain things. And it's like they can act like
but that's a reason to buy it on Vudu, because
that's what I mean. Or buy it on physical media. At least you have it. You know what I mean? It's not going to change. You have it.
They haven't edited anything on Vudu, you know. So
yeah,
it's edited if it's a streaming thing, but not on Vudu. Because I noticed that on
well,
Tubi.
That's why I like that. So like I'm not sure if you guys have like heard the myth or whatever about that. So like when I was a kid, there was a movie with with Sinbad called Shazam.
Shazam, yeah.
It came out. I remember vividly having that movie on cassette tape. Now when you look up Shazam and Sinbad, they tell you that movie never existed. It never happened. That we're making it up.
That's the Mandela effect.
Yeah. And there's no way, because I vividly like had that cassette tape that I used to play as a child. So like you can't tell me that didn't exist when I know for a fact it existed.
Wait,
and like
what's the story behind this?
People are mixing up.
If you look up Shazam, right?
Yeah.
People, the myth is that you're mixing up the Shaq film with the Sinbad film.
Kazam,
no,
you're mixing up Kazam with
because there was a Sinbad genie film when we were kids.
I remember.
No, it's a Mandela effect.
And they tell you it never existed. If you look it up right now on Google, it'll tell you that movie never happened. It never existed. And that's because they pulled all physical media of that movie to make it never exist. And like that's the stuff that they're going to do with streaming platforms. Is like one day stuff's just going to be gone and it never happened.
The problem is not a single person can produce a VHS tape.
Oh, I've seen somebody produce the VHS tape. Yeah, I've seen it.
Where?
It was on somebody
you can't
did
find a photo of it.
Yeah, you can. You definitely can. If you Google it, you can find actual production copies of that movie that people have found.
No, you can't.
That's what I'm saying. It's the craziest fucking thing in the world, and they tell you it never happened.
It's a Mandela effect.
Can you look it up? I want to, and then we'll share the screen.
I can't. I'm on my phone, but if somebody's on the
Mandela effect, and it never existed.
They say that it never happened and it never existed, but I know for a fact when me and Eric were kids, that Sinbad Shazam movie came out.
What?
And like I don't know what.
My mind is blown right now because that definitely existed.
Yes. I'm telling you, and there must have been something in the movie that they didn't want anybody to remember or see, so they just removed the movie totally and told you, "Oh, it never happened."
What the
fuck? It's been claimed.
I did not wake up this morning thinking that we'd be revisiting Sinbad's Shazam.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I remember the Sinbad pirate movie.
This is
a genie movie. It was a genie.
This is a famous Mandela effect thing, just like the spelling of Berenstain Bears.
That's another one.
The way the Ford logo is presented. Like it started because a lot of people remember Mandela dying in 1984.
See,
which I also had that lesson in school. I remember being in elementary school and them talking about how Mandela died in prison, and then all of a sudden I get to be an adult and I find out he never died and he actually got out of prison and went to live a life. And you're like, wait a minute, he died when I was a kid. Well, they call that the Mandela effect because half the population of the world does remember learning in school that he died while he was in prison, and the other half don't. So they think that it's a weird thing, but the moment they turned on that first quantum computer, all right, people have actually tied it down to this exact moment. The moment someone turned on that quantum computer and they proved that quantum computers, we're going way off topic here, so not flag me, but they found out that a quantum computer can compute faster than should physically be possible, which means that in its quantum state while it's computing, it's actually probably computing in other worlds, other parallel worlds, and so it's using the chips that are in the quantum computer as well as the chips that are in a parallel universe as Earth in the same computer. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way it could compute as fast as it does, is if it's using stuff from other universes at the same time to get its answer back at a faster rate than a normal computer would. So what happened is the moment that computer got turned on, two
that's
universes.
Kazan. We're talking about Shazam.
Two universes actually merged, and that's why half the population remember Kazam as Shazam, and the other half say it never existed. And that's why half the population remembers Berenstain Bears, and the other half remembers the Berenstain Bears. You know what I mean? Stain versus Steen. And
There's
why
a
the
bunch
Ford
of them.
logo, why there's two different Ford logos, why
For
Mandela died both in 84 and after he got out of prison. It's because two parallel worlds have combined, and half the population of our world is actually from the parallel world, and the other half is from our world.
Can you share some of the LSD?
Yeah, there's entire videos and websites about this. Yeah,
like dedicated to it. Yeah. It's actually kind of fun that they talk about this effect in depth.
It'll blow your mind, but
I think there's some merit to that theory. It's a lot. I mean, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that like
the
there
world
is.
we live in right now, Shazam never existed, but yet all you people remember it, and that's the problem. Yeah.
So we're from the alternate, or are you from the alternate?
I don't know which one it is.
You guys are replicants. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm
going to say I got pulled in from the alternate timeline.
I'm just a clone, so I don't know either. Yeah.
Where the Shamrock Shakes were year-round, and the Mexican pizza never went away.
It's just crazy. Like there's
Looney
a lot.
Tunes.
If you actually like look it up, there's tons and tons of things that fall under that Mandela effect, and there's like a whole list that somebody did of like movies, magazines, the way brands names were spelled, like even Febreze at one point. Yeah, like different things. It's really insane.
Yeah, Jif peanut butter. Like a lot of people remember it as Jiffy instead of Jif.
Yeah.
What if GIF and JIF is another?
Yeah.
It's definitely a wild thing to think about. Like when you put it in that perspective. Like I don't know. They have proven though that there are like parallel universes. That was recent.
Oh yeah, they have. Yeah, that's
NASA actually like came out and said it.
Part of it is because of quantum computing and how it works. They've realized that it has to, because on a quantum level, like things are jumping in and out of parallel universes, parallel worlds. Yeah.
You
the
guys are making me
of true.
He's not convinced that's an non-alcoholic now.
you guys are making me wish this was.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting the world we're in and like what's going on around us. You know what I mean? And how things just keep changing and evolving, and what we know is maybe not what we're gonna know in the next 6 months or a couple months. You know what I mean?
So Fuller says, JT, it's 1996 video Blockbuster today.
Be kind, rewind.
I miss Blockbuster, man. I had video stores and stuff like that. Like we were talking about the other day, that I have like one that's holding on. It's only because it's like a record store. So like that's how they get by, like still having videos and stuff like that. But
Friday night ritual, going to Blockbuster and getting exposed to all the great film from the past. Yeah,
the new releases and everything. That was like peak.
Well, you had to strategically get there and then check the bins. Like,
yeah,
you check the bins yet?
Did that come in? I've been waiting on that for 2 weeks.
What was sweet is when you made him check and it was in there, and you were like,
yeah.
And you'd be like victorious, and some people give you the stink eye.
And then the great thing, like towards the end, was like with Blockbuster, was when like, so once stuff would cycle out, they'd sell off like the DVDs and stuff after the fact. So like you'd be able to do the 5 for $20 and just like you'd go home. That's what me and my buddies used to do all the time. We'd go in on like Friday night and pick up the 5 for $20 DVDs, and all right, I'm gonna take this one, and this one, and like I have like tons and tons of them now in my shelves of just with the Blockbuster sticker on them.
Awesome. I found it. So here it is. There was never actually a movie of Shazam with Sinbad in it. Okay, here's what it was. They did find it, and it's on this website. It turns out in 2006 there was a sitcom, like a collection called College Humor Originals, and inside that unit, the group that did College Humor Originals, every single episode, whatever, they would do a story, like an hour or an hour and a half long self-contained film or story. And in there was an episode where Sinbad played a genie, and the title of that episode was Shazam. And some of the things that were done in College Humor Originals were put out on VHS, not under College Originals, but under the title of their skit. So the Shazam Sinbad thing was put out on some VHS tapes as bullshit. Shazam.
That's bullshit.
I haven't thought about Shazam since the mid-90s. So
it was like 95. Like 95, 97. That's when it came out.
I'm not mixing up anything with the mid-2000s.
Because they have it. They have a picture of it right here. They have it's Shazam just as a genie shooting electricity out of his fingers.
Yeah.
That probably happened. Like I trust that you're right there. I just.
And it says it's from.
There was a Shazam movie, and it was like the 90s. Because it was corny as shit, and it had to do with like a treasure, like a meeting a genie and unlocking a treasure.
Yeah. Next thing you're gonna tell me is that like Blank Check didn't exist, or that was one of my favorites in the early 90s.
Look right here.
Wait, is Spring Break for real? Is Spring Break real? Please tell me that movie's real. There was another great movie that ended in an amusement park with Shaka Khan playing. I think it was Shaka Khan. Let the music play. Does anyone remember that movie? Shannon's Let the Music Play. Yeah, it's Shannon. Let the music play. Let the music play. Oh, no, that's something.
John,
so anyways, something
Dino said he sent
you
something.
park.
If dude shares the screen, I'll show you the screenshot of it.
It's fake, John. They're lying to you.
You got one up? Hang on.
It's a conspiracy to cover up that movie because there's something in that movie that they don't want kids to see.
You're not gonna deny that Sinbad, right?
Yeah,
that's dressed as the genie shooting the electricity. It says 2006 from that series.
It definitely wasn't 2006 though. This is a remake.
That may have been something from 2006, but
nah, that might be from 2006, but the Shazam movie happened before that. That's what I'm saying. It definitely did. It was in the 90s because it was straight VHS.
So he redid it when he did College Humor, is what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Look at the title of this episode.
So he was
paid using it to fuck with people.
To redo it. And so what you're saying is that this is part of a cover-up to mess with the people.
Yep. This is all part of it.
All right, Dino. This is not that kind of stream. It's not that kind of stream, Dino.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
I watched back in high school I watched Pumping Iron. That was
Dino says he has a copy of it. So check that picture, John, that Dino sent you, because he says he has a copy of Shazam. And Dino's
that could be a bait and switch, though. That could be a bait and switch.
Dino's kids are about the same age as me and Eric, so that would pretty much make sense if Dino still had a copy of it from, you know what I mean? That would line up.
No, Hard Bodies better be rude. Those Hard Bodies too. Hard Bodies was some foundational viewing material in my life as a young man growing up in the city.
Where did Dino send the picture? It's not anywhere. It's not on my phone. It's not on Twitter.
That's the Imperial
It got
dignitary.
erased. He thinks he sent it to me, and the internet
They
erased
erased
it, so I
it.
wouldn't see it.
They intercepted
Yeah.
and erased the truth. Dino,
That's
they
what I'm
did.
saying.
They're on the way
Because
to
they
your
don't want
house.
anyone
They're
to
on the way your
know.
house.
They don't
Got
want
it.
they don't want
Got
people to
it.
know that it's real. Because there's something in that movie that they don't want people to know about. That's like a
Look,
real thing.
There's not a single message from Dino. Nothing.
Yeah. They took
it
it.
didn't come through. They erased it before it got to me.
You believe that?
There's no. It wasn't on Twitter. Nothing. Yeah.
No, JT, that didn't happen. We don't
right.
acknowledge Imperial propaganda on this channel.
Right, that's Imperial propaganda. So Dino said, "I actually
he
don't.
lied.
I was kidding." Why would you lie like that?
Yeah, you can't lie
He
like
really
that.
did
Dino.
send him an inappropriate pic. Then
Yeah,
that was just a whole ruse to send John an inappropriate pic.
yeah.
We don't condone that.
No, that was definitely a real thing. I'm telling you.
This is off topic.
He
But I
says
just
he
have to
sent
share
the
this.
pic to his wife by mistake.
This accessory is insane. Skewered chickens on fire.
Indy.
That is cool.
That's the one good thing with that line is like they do come with like a lot of accessories. That's the for them being essentially the same as Black Series figures, and Black Series figures only coming with one simple thing.
Yeah.
So if I was to summarize this conversation,
I wouldn't try.
I would.
Yeah.
I would. All right. First of all, I'm gonna say today for
everybody
staying on one topic. It's a red flag for the whole.
Yeah.
It's a community of red flag, but I appreciate the effort. So I think we shared like a lot of options, a lot of streaming services, a lot of differences in quality, and I think the real answer is only to have a couple at a time. Subscribe for the month, binge, and then you move on to the next one. Because what's interesting is that kind of goes more towards Netflix's models to release all of it at once.
Yeah.
Versus week by week, which I don't know. That's kind of interesting, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. Is once Ahsoka's out, Guardians is on there, Indiana Jones is on there, I'll subscribe for the month. Watch everything.
Quite a lot to watch too.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It gives you a ton to watch for the month, and then I'll have Secret Invasion as well.
Yeah.
So
are you looking forward to Ahsoka?
Yeah, I really am. That's why I'm gonna subscribe. I
wasn't sure because
no, that's why I'm subscribing. But
there's
I just
a portion of people who are not like they're hating on it way before they even see anything from it.
How can anyone really hate on something before it comes out? Just getting on
because there's a
negativity hype train is
there's a portion of people
energy.
that refuse to watch Rebels and think it's like the worst thing ever that Star Wars is a cartoon, and unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, those cartoons are better than the actual movies in the long run. You get more Anakin Skywalker in Clone Wars than you would in anything of the original, the prequel movies.
There's just awesome. So much wasted energy and negativity out there. It's like if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Yep. Yeah, it's like The Flash. I'll watch it when I subscribe to HBO Max to watch that and some other things, but I had no I hope it is good. So when I watch it, I'm entertained.
My only attachment was to Keaton. That was about it. I didn't care about anything else that happened.
I think that was cool.
I just wanted to see Keaton come back. I would have took a whole movie of that, that original Burton cast coming back, like Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito, as opposed to having to watch Flash. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I think they threw him in there to probably save the movie.
Well, yeah. I think though the problem for a lot of people I think was had it been Bale that they put in that movie, I think you would have got a lot more eyes on it because for our generation, Bale was kind of, the definitive Batman now for quite a lot of people. And then you have Keaton who's it's been 30 years. You know what I mean? You're missing a whole bunch of people that never even saw Keaton as Batman. You know what I mean? As opposed to if you would have been able to land Bale for the role, it might have bridged the gap a little bit more. I think in that.
Yep.
I just think it's
Keaton,
crazy
though,
that
you could
movie
do-
came out
Well, yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
that too.
with the what's his name, Ezra, whatever.
Yeah,
Miller.
with
Yeah.
Ezra's, with his reputation now, it's
Yeah.
Well, that was
And
another
that's
reason
really what
why
hurt
I
the
wasn't
movie.
going to go see it. Yeah, I'm just not going to support it. You know, someone who does that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Keaton would be really cool in a Batman Beyond film.
Yeah.
I
And
think that,
supposedly that this movie not doing well, the rumor is that killed any momentum for a Keaton.
But this
Batman
movie
Beyond.
didn't fail because
I
of
don't-
Keaton Batman. Like that.
Well, that's what
the
I'm
thing
saying.
That's sad.
That doesn't make sense
failed
to
because
me.
it was
Yeah.
it's part of the Snyderverse,
Yeah.
and then it failed because of the lead actor and you know
well, there's
the issues people have heard about. So
there's no Batman Beyond with him in it because Gunn's not gonna do. I mean, his Batman's gonna be part of the new Batman universe. Why would
Well,
you do
Right.
you could do Elseworlds because they are still doing Elseworlds movies. The Pattinson
'cause
Batman's a separate thing. The
Pattinson
Joker
yeah.
movie is a separate thing. Those are Elseworlds titles for DC technically now. Because Pattinson's Batman's not going to be Batman for the DCU. Pattinson's Batman's going to be his own separate thing for 3
I
movies.
thought there was
and
going to
that's it.
be just no more of that. I thought that was one and
No.
done.
No, that's
It got pushed.
the
It got
Joker
pushed.
stuff.
It got pushed back to 2030 now.
That's a
apparently.
stupid ass idea because it confuses the matter. People
Well,
like
yeah,
my
right.
mother and father aren't going to know what's going on.
Yep.
They're going to think it's all
Yep.
connected and be like, "What the hell? Why are there 2 different Batman running around?"
Yep.
You
And,
know,
and I'm okay
that's-
with
that's-
that being a
that's-
one and done. Like, and same with
Yeah,
that
I
Joker
would have been
movie.
okay with
I'd
that
be
being
okay
one
and
if
done.
those are both one and done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, no, I am too. I honestly, I liked the Joker movie so much. I would have been fine had they just ran with that, and then Joaquin's your Joker for the Gun universe. I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? No issues here. But they
The
decided to
time
go.
frames wouldn't sync up, right?
Yeah,
It'd be
they
so old, yeah.
yeah. So, but he'd also be Bruce's brother, which would add a little. You know, is he or
Supposedly.
isn't he? You know what I mean? It just kind of adds a little bit more intrigue to their relationship. It's a cool little twist. But I don't think we'll ever see that play out like now, you know, because the next Joaquin movie, it's mainly focused on him and Harley Quinn, which is Lady Gaga. So it's and like him having a fucking mental breakdown because there's like 3 versions of him running around, but it's all him, and it's like his mind projecting the other versions of himself. So it's gonna be one of those like really fucking trippy movies.
That first one was just so sad.
What is it? Fight? It's
and
Fight
dark.
Club. So it's Fight Club.
In a way, yeah, it's because like you're having like Joaquin Phoenix as like Arthur, and then you're gonna have like full on
Andy's about to
Joker,
be right back.
and then you're gonna have like the alternate like Joker, like and like he's seeing all the versions. There's like a clip, so they shot it like close by my house, so like there's a clip that was going around of like Joaquin running down the street, and there's like 2 other versions of him following behind him, and like they're all going different directions, but they're all like following the same pattern. And like Joaquin Phoenix is an incredible actor, man, because you can see it like in his reactions and in his movements that like he's aware of these other versions of himself like going in the different directions, but then they all end up back together. It was really, really pretty cool. But apparently there's like musical numbers in it because like they're going like down the rabbit hole of like it being in his mind. Zazie Beetz is coming back, so I guess she didn't die in the first one. That we, you know, like they kind of left that as like an open-ended question, like did he or did he not kill her at the end there? But yeah, should be interesting. But yeah, those are all technically.
Cut it all off.
I do too. I agree. And like I could but would you see that point though for Star Wars too, of like that argument of like would you guys be open to like some Elseworlds Star Wars stuff where it's like it's not canon, but we're gonna do this.
That's what Visions is.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, but
Yeah.
like, would you be for that in like live action or like a TV show or no? Just stick to canon.
Canon.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of. I guess in a sense, it's like. I'd rather they stick with one. I'd rather they stick with one or the other. You know what I mean?
Like for instance, say they wanted to do something where Anakin never fell to the dark side, and they wanted to just do it as like a one shot where they show you the what if of like Anakin being the hero and killing Palpatine and taking over that way, like
so you're pitching a
what
what if cartoon? That'd be fine, but it would have to be something like that. I don't want to see one-off films that are like
a cartoon.
I don't want like the Robert Pattinson Batman situation where you see like, I don't want to see like Heir to the Empire in a film which contradicts like the canon, and that's
my gripe with whatever Filoni might do. I'm not sure what he's going to do as far as.
But whatever they're doing is they're forming something into the canon. I just don't want them to waste energy, and I don't think they will. I really don't. I don't think they'll produce content that's not in this singular Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's at some point in time they have to bring back like Luke, Han, and Leia and them. And I don't know what form that takes. Like, do you just hire new actors and fill in gaps in between? You know,
I think that's the way to go.
Because that 30-year period between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens still, I think, can be flushed out and would have some animation stories.
Yeah,
and I'd like to see some of it live action. I don't care if some of it can be cartoon animated, some of it can be CG, whatever.
John, have you heard like the rumor for Filoni's movie going around that supposedly Alden is going to come back to play Han for that movie, and that they're going to?
That's true. No way.
Well, I'm saying, would you be opposed to that and them going?
No, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm just saying Filoni's not going to work with any existing actor. That it's only his group. It's going to be Ahsoka. Filoni stuff is all Ahsoka and Clone Wars.
No, but I think we're definitely going to see Luke, Han, and Leia in that movie.
Yes, absolutely. Somewhere down the road, I think it's inevitable. We have to, and you've got to recast them as somebody else. That's just how it's got to be.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Would you be on board with them doing like a full recast of Han, Leia, and Luke, or do you want them to?
Yes.
Do you want them to CGI them? Yeah, that's what I was.
No, I don't care. Well, either way, I don't care either way. Yeah.
See, for me, I'd prefer almost them recasting them than trying to do the CGI and it not holding up to par. You know what I mean?
Like in another 4 or 5 years, deep fake is going to be so damn good
you're
not going to be able to tell.
You're not going to be able to tell. So yes, I agree. I agree.
It doesn't.
But will they have the rights to do that? Right? Like I'm sure, like you could, if you throw enough money at Harrison Ford, he will do it begrudgingly. But like,
yeah, I think the one who's going to jump on board right away is, I mean, as soon as they're done creating the digital model of William Shatner and they see that it works, Mark Hamill's going to jump on board. He's going to be the second person to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's precedent for him doing some of that stuff already.
Yeah,
with Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, but.
Because William Shatner, William Shatner's plan after he passes away in his death thing, it's like you can use the likeness and the money will go to his estate, his family, and whatever else. And they're going to continue to use William Shatner's likeness in movies. That's why they're making this digital version of him. It's almost imperceptible now. They have entire interviews with the computer, with the computerized William Shatner, and people can't tell it's not William Shatner. And all they're going to do is de-age it and make it an actor in a film. And
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but in Indiana Jones in the flashback scenes, oh my god, that was good.
The deep fake was.
They deep faked him amazingly well.
See now, dude, I already know you're on the opposite side of the spectrum. You don't want to see Han, Luke, and Leia recast, right? Can he hear us?
I don't know.
I'm not sure he put in the headphones. Did he?
Dude, you hear us?
He's eating chips.
Well, I don't mind if they're recast as long as they're recast well. I mean, if we get stories from that era that are well done, that's totally cool. I'm all for it.
I wasn't sure if you were leaning more towards no, they got to be deep fake.
No. I'd rather not do it if they're doing a deep fake because it's not a human. You know what I mean? I'd rather not have it at all.
Yeah.
I personally prefer a Clone Wars-esque series, like animated series, post Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I would too.
Yes.
I mean, that would be the most logical choice. Yeah.
Because then
I'd like something with better. See, that's the thing. Problem I have with a lot of Vision episodes too is that I don't want artsy fartsy crap. I want really damn good animation that looks
I like
lot
Clone Wars
like
animation.
real
Like the Clone
characters
Wars.
look.
Yeah.
Well, like even the Clone Wars and stuff, that was fine. But if you really look at the anatomy of those characters, it's all
well,
they have
the Dooku
long
face
thin
and
legs, long thin arms.
They
weird
changed
stretched
that
out
though when she
faces.
got to the end of it, because
Yeah.
the final season of Clone Wars was totally
Yeah.
different.
Well, the first season was very Gendy
Yeah.
Tarkovsky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They sort of smoothed it away as it went on. But all I'm saying is like I don't know. I don't see why. Like in my opinion, anatomically speaking, like the old G.I. Joe and Transformer cartoons were almost perfect. They tried to draw them like real things. But in an like the old X-Men cartoon from 90s, the old Spider-Man stuff from the 90s, like they're drawn anatomically correct. And I don't understand why today's cartoons have to have giant eyes and mouths that go wah, and stupid shit all the time. And it's like I don't want that. I want an animated series that is realistic looking, you know? Like did you see that TIE Fighter X-Wing short that someone drew and just did on YouTube? It's like a fan-made animated series thing.
Of them it's them like hopping in the cockpit, right? But walking to the tie and then getting in
and when they take off, like all the stars go by.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it looks like a freaking. It's so detailed and so amazing. Like, do that style in a Star Wars cartoon, yeah, man.
That would be cool. Yeah, no, I'm all for like regardless of what it is, whether they recast them, whether they do it as an animated show. I'm not the biggest like AI generated.
Well, animated, and the other thing is animated could be
I'd
better because
prefer them to recast than to do CGI straight up.
you can
with
animation. You can with animation,
especially Leia. I think that's going to be the tough one where like, especially if you know that like she wasn't on board with it and her daughter's really not on board with it, and they're going to do it anyway, and it's like. Yeah. All right, maybe you guys are crossing a line here with the family itself.
That's why you animate or you recast.
Yeah.
But with animation, you can get voices that either someone can do the voice almost exactly the same, or you can even, in a lot of cases, like especially with say William Shatner and probably what Mark Hamill's going to do as soon as they get
you're going to be able to re-speech.
They're going to record so much of his voice as how he sounds that they're going to use the real voice, you know?
And that's the way of the future, unfortunately, is like the re-speecher app. It does some incredible things, but it's also like can be a huge detriment. And it's the same with all of this tech that's coming. It's like it could be used but it's got to be used with human supervision still intact doing it. If you're just letting the AI or the computer generate these things and do these things, stuff's going to get really out of control for us.
It's going to look weird too. Yeah. It's going to go crazy off the rails after a while.
That's part of this whole writer's strike and everything going on is like, these tools are great. They're things that can really help the industry, but you have to use it inside these certain parameters, because if not, you're accelerating things way too quickly past the point of like fixing it. And then once we get to the point of like, oh, you're using it to make scripts, you're using it to make movies, you're using it to do all this, and now those writers are out of jobs, those people are out of, you know what I mean? Like now you're in a whole different territory of like how fast it goes.
You're touching on the problem that's going to be in every single
every field.
The pizza shop down the store is only the owner, and it's a robot making the pizzas.
Wow, really?
Oh, it's been there for 3 years now. It happened during the lockdown because he didn't want to close.
Yeah,
and he has no employees. It's just him and the robot.
And the machine. Yeah.
And he's got an automatic thing taking the phone calls, and it prints out a thing to tell him what they ordered.
Well, now in New York City, they just unveiled.
Little Caesars is robotic too. The Little Caesars by me is robotic too.
That's crazy.
Now in New York City, they're using those dogs from Black Mirror, those robotic dogs from Boston Dynamics, and they're using 2 other droids basically to serve as police in the city now, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to be recording people and doing everything with these animatronics.
I think across the board, like, I mean, your warehouse jobs, all the restaurants, like restaurants that are fast food chains and things, they're all going to go computerized and robotic, and there's going to be like millions of people out of work, and that's why you should have agreed with Andy Yang and done the stipend that's supposed to go to every American citizen who's over the age of 18. You know, and that smooths the balance between our economic system we have today to what the future economic system would be, which is one that doesn't really have money.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Definitely, that's what I was saying earlier. Is like we're in such a weird time that, like, in our lives to see all this happen, like, especially, you know, like we all lived through it. We all saw, like, when we didn't have shit, and now all of a sudden, like, everything's at the palm of our fingertips, and like our kids and younger generations, to them that's all they know. But like we grew up in it. You know what I mean? We grew up and saw that. So I think we have a different mindset on, like, the world because of the fact that, like, we remember what it was like before we had all this shit.
Yeah.
But we're in agreement that spring break is real, right?
Right?
So is Hard Bodies.
I've never seen it. I've never seen either.
But back on
it exists, right? Like, we know this exists, right?
Yeah. But back on the thing with films and like stuff.
What's the movie
going
with
on?
Shannon?
Like, I really think that Batman universe in general, and this dawned on me while I was watching the new one with Robert Pattinson, where I was like, that guy, the Riddler, he wasn't quite the Riddler yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, the Riddler we know with the suit and the question marks and carrying the question mark.
Well, they combined.
Cane.
They made him
Hush
too. That's kind of what they did.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is, like, you could see how in a couple more interactions with Batman, that guy could become the Riddler we all know from the stuff. So what I thought of was, like, what if you did a long-term Batman universe where, like, you introduce a lot of these characters that are Batman villains, but as their normal self, and they slowly, like, so, you know, kind of like how they always do with Harvey Dent, where you meet him.
That's what they're trying to do with Spider-Man.
Well, they did
do stuff like that with Spider-Man.
Did you watch Gotham?
Yeah, but
they did that in Gotham.
Took it a little bit too far back because he was still a little kid when he was meeting.
Well, that was the only benefit, only downfall of the show. Like they didn't progress Bruce, but the rest of the way they did that,
but with more, I guess, more seriousness and think it out a little bit better too, because I don't believe they thought of stuff that was going on in season 12 when season 1 was being written of that show. You know what I mean? It's like, so, I mean, but like, plan something out that can go for like a decade and have the same Batman and all these guys playing it, and you meet some of the people you meet on the street, like in the first movie, 5 movies down the road end up becoming Crocmaster or something. You know what I mean? Or, you know, and I think that would be cool to just sort of see this buildup of all these characters over like a 10 or 12 movie arc that goes on for, you know, 10 or 12 years. You know what I mean? Like,
that locking down
that
actors is tough.
Like, and just stick to that Batman universe, you know, and do that sort of thing.
That would be a cool way for them to bring back, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. too, like, especially depending on whatever happens in Secret Invasion, if those characters get brought into, like, the MCU now. That would be a cool way to like show S.H.I.E.L.D. and then establish some of these other, like, villains for Spider-Man or Captain America, and like they're in S.H.I.E.L.D. and that's your first introduction to them before you see them become like the full-blown villain. Yeah, that would be a cool way to do it.
I was watching it with Robert Pattinson. Yeah. Or do it as a streaming. Like, I don't understand why. I mean, I get what Dunn is saying now about, or Gunn or whatever, going like, I want the streaming and the movies to be together. But that's something I kind of don't agree with on another level, where I'm like, why can't the movies be something? Because generally, you don't get a movie every year. They probably won't do Gunn's universe of DC like they're doing with Marvel, where we get 5 movies a year or whatever the hell we're getting. So I mean, it's like
too much.
It's like, why So what I'm saying is, why not make a separate universe in the streaming apps?
But
And
that's
allow
it's all going to be
Batman, but allow Batman and Superman and those guys to be on the streaming, because like that was the problem with Gotham and with Smallville and stuff, is that they said we don't want Superman and Batman to be on television. So they did other things with those characters to sort of skirt around it.
Yeah.
And they never actually, like the guy in Smallville never actually turned into Superman
until
like
the end.
The dude on Gotham never actually became Batman. Like even when he did go out and fight crime, he had just like a hoodie on and a stupid cape or something. It was like he wasn't really Batman, you know.
But that's why Gunn's changing things to where like he wants those animated movies and the shows that are going to be on streaming to coincide to his universe. So like you're watching one consistent thing across the board. If it's an animated movie, it's going to be the same actors and doing the voice for those characters.
If Superman, I'm just hoping that if there's like, say there's an Aquaman DC Universe streaming show and Superman is in it, I hope he actually shows up in it and you don't just see his boot. And
well, you're going to have
exactly.
You know what I mean? So in according to Gunn, so if you had that situation presented, not only is it going to be the Aquaman who's going to be playing him in live action doing the voice, but it'll also be this David Cornsweet guy doing the voice for Superman if it's animated.
Well, so I'm saying not animated, live action. Like
I'm even saying if it is live action, it's all going to be one. So you're going to have one across the board with DC from here on out.
Like
it's all one thing.
What was that one where the newer show where they had was it Supergirl where they all crossed over and at some point it was supposed to be Henry Cavill, but all they showed was his boot and they had a guy do a voice that sounded a little bit like him.
That's all the CW.
And I'm like, that's stupid. That's so stupid. Show the whole character.
But that's
that's because everything was split up. Yeah.
Right. That's why if they're doing this, in all likelihood they're casting actors who will sign up for like
that they're doing everything.
You will when we say jump, you say how high.
Yeah, and like we need you for this, you're gonna show up and do the voice for this. If we're doing live action, you're gonna show up on set and you're gonna be the character. Same thing if like vice versa. And that's what he stated, everything's gonna be across the board. So that's my assumption of why he's looking towards these younger actors that aren't like big names, because now you're locking them into deals where like it's a 360 deal. It's basically a record deal in the sense of like when I need you for something, you're there to do it and no questions asked. It's part of your contract. You're getting paid for it. All the same as like if you were doing a live action.
Yeah.
So
and I don't
video
see why,
games too. He said video games are included in that as well. So
and I don't get why like I mean I don't understand this. I mean, maybe because I'm not in that universe, but it's like I never understood the separation between television and movies, because I was like, there are people who sign on for 10 or 20 years to do a show like NCIS. And they say like, I'm grateful to lock myself into that because it means I have a paid job for X amount of years. Yep. And a lot of times you see some of those actors in the off time, they do a movie. So they're not barred from doing other projects. They still fit it in to do a movie or something else, you know, like that guy from SWAT, you know, he was like, you know, gone for half a season because he was doing like 2 other films, you know. And
right, but when you get bigger names, they want to do their passion projects or whatever. Whenever they want to do them,
they want to do their own thing without it being like attached. And that's what you're running into with Pedro and Mandalorian. Is like he's gearing towards these other projects, and Mando's now just a voiceover role for him. He doesn't want any part of like being on set and being there in person anymore because he's doing everything.
I don't think that's 100% true. I watched this interview with him on
the Variety interview.
Variety, yeah, and I think it's more
just that he did season 2 and realized how hard it was and was like, yeah, I'm good.
Well, I think he just like when he shows up. Like he wants, like when there's like a face reveal or whatever, he wants it to mean something, because for the character, it's more about, you know, the mask and the aura of that, right? And
that's why he was saying that like Brandon Wayne and them got top billing over him this year because they're the character. He's not. He's just the voice. And like I thought that was very interesting. But you see like what they're running into with that, and now like the speculation of like, oh well, is Dan even going to be in season 4, or are they just going to go forward with Katie. If I think so too. But it's just interesting to
He's not leaving that. I'd be extremely surprised if he left the project altogether.
Yeah, I would be too.
Well, technically, you don't even need him to do the voice. The voice can be replicated by almost anybody. Because the Max makes a muffling, different sound. It doesn't, completely different with the mask off as he does on. So,
still,
I'd
still be surprised.
That it was very, it was like humbling for him to get into the suit in season 2 because he realized how hard it was. And then like after that, he was like, well, I have other projects going on, so I'll let them play Mando and I'll just come in and do the voice.
Interesting. Well, thank you guys for it.
I was about to say we hitting that 2-hour mark.
We hit the 2-hour mark. So I think we're on topic for about 45 minutes to 2 hours. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Work tonight.
Well, most of it was related to streaming.
It was in this
and catching up. We were in the realm and catching up. It's been a while. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with all this stuff going on, and since the last time you were on. But
it was good
to talk enough about nubs.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who watched, especially as we got into the parallel universe and quantum theory portion of the hangout. We appreciate sticking through that. That was good stuff. I do believe anything's possible, because who the heck knows?
Yeah, right.
What is out there? But
I met an alien yesterday, so he was totally a lizard person. It's live. It's live on Shanty's stream on Pop My Culture. She got it on film with me talking to a lizard person. So
well, and every Mandela effect is a combining of two parallel universes.
Yeah,
exactly.
So we learned that as well. That actually makes sense. That somehow. That actually totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, you need to say it. You need to say it like Kevin Garnett, though. Anything is possible.
Well, you just did. You did.
Yeah.
All right, red flag for this evening. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll leave you with our friend Salacious Rum.
The dude compels you to make your offering to the toy gods. The dude compels you to praise to